Hare Krishna. Good morning, Andrea. Good morning, Angel. Good morning, Bhima Prabhu. Good morning, Preeti. Good morning, Pat. Good morning, Susan. Good morning, AJ. Good morning, Jamuna Jaya. Okay. It's my turn to give Srimad Bhagavatam class. And I encourage all of you to contribute. Can you all hear me okay? Give me some thumbs. Good. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 16, verse 20, 21, and 22. We're going to focus on 21 and 22. Verse 20, I'll just read the translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Thereafter, Parashurama joined his father's head to the dead body and placed the whole body and head upon kusha grass. By offering sacrifices, he began to worship Lord Vasudeva, who is the all-pervading supersoul of all the demigods and of every living entity. Next. 21 and 22. Dadau prachim disam hotre brahmane dakshinam disam adhadyave prachitim vai udgatre uttaram disham anyebhyu vantara disa kashyapya cha madhyataha aryavartam upadashte sadishyastata param. Translation. Dadao gave as a gift, Prachin, eastern, Dasam, direction, Hotre, unto the priest known as Hota, Brahmane, unto the priest known as Brahmana, Dakshinam, southern, Disham, direction, Advaryave, unto the priest known as Advaryu, Pratichim, the western side, Vai, indeed, Udgatre, unto the priest known as Udgata, Uttaram, northern, Disham, side, Anyebhyaha, unto the others, Avantara Disaha, the different corners, northeast, southeast, northwest, and southwest. Kashyapaya, unto Kashyapa Muni. Cha, also. Madhyataha, in the middle portion. Aryavartam, the portion known as Aryavarta. Upadrashtre, unto the Upadrashta, the priest acting as overseer to hear and check the mantras. Sadasyebhyaha, unto the Sadasyas, the associate priests. Tata param, whatever remained. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada, His Divine Grace. After completing the sacrifice, Lord Parashurama gave the eastern direction to the Hota as a gift, Hota is the name of the sage. The south to the Brahma, the west to the Advaryu, the north to the Udgada, and the four corners, northeast, southeast, northwest, and southwest, to the other priests. He gave the middle to Kashyapa and the place known as Aryavarta to the Upadrishta. Whatever remained, he distributed among the Sadasyas, the associate priests. Purport. The tract of land in India between the Himalaya mountains and the Vindhya hills is called Aryavarta. Okay, Hare Krishna, good morning everyone who has joined. Welcome to our morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. I request your blessing so I can speak something that is in line with what Srila Prabhupada says, what Shastra says, something that is pleasing and uplifting to everybody, myself included. So, Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yenai Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, but my spiritual master is opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him again and again and again. Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so just a quick recap. Purusharama, who was a son of Jamadagni, the Brahmana, went to the capital of Kartavirya Arjuna, the mighty king, who had killed his father, and whose sons had killed his father, and killed them all 21 times, killed the entire Kshatriya race 21 times. And then he came back to his father's place and performed this sacrifice. He started worshipping Vasudev, Vishnu, Krishna, and he distributed everything to the priests that were conducting the yagya. So that's the verse today. Okay. There's not much in the purport, so I hope we have a lively and interactive discussion today. So the first thing that comes in mind when I read about this yagyas and sacrificial ceremonies and functions that were performed in that age, we should try to draw the line between what they were doing back then and how this applies to us here in this day and age. And immediately Sankirtan Yagya comes to mind, because this is the prescribed Yagya for this age. We don't have to set up a whole arena. We don't have to sacrifice a horse. We don't have to give all the directions to the sages. That's not necessary for this day and age, because Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, because people of this age are so fallen. So in other words, we can't do that anyways. But for us, the creatures of Kali Yuga, we have our Yagya, Lord Chaitanya. It's Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 6, 242. Lord Chaitanya says, Harir Nama eva kevalam. Kalau nasteva gatir anyataha. It means, in this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, the only means to deliverance is chanting the holy names of the Lord. There is no other way, Lord Chaitanya says 3 times. There is no other way. There is no other way. So this is the curse of the Kali Yuga, that we're so incapable and so fallen and engaged in quarrel and hypocrisy that we can't perform any proper yagyas to alleviate ourselves from suffering. And it's also a big blessing. Srila Prabhupada uses the word concession. It's a big concession for the Kali Yuga, where we can just simply engage in congregational chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Very simple. Srila Prabhupada says, Krishna consciousness is very simple for the simple, and it's very complicated to the complicated, to those whose mind is complicated. So Krishna is Sarvakarna Karna. He's the prime cause of all causes, and he can satisfy anyone. If you're a simple person, Krishna consciousness is good for you. If you have an academic mind, sophisticated mind, Krishna will satisfy that. There's plenty of books, very solid philosophy of that. So that's good news. We are here in Kali Yuga, and we're meant to chant. We're meant to serve. There's this verse that I was going to recite before the class, but I forgot, so I'll recite it now. Nasta prayeshva bhajishu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavate uttamashloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on Srimad Bhagavatam, and by rendering service to the personality of Godhead, to the devotee Bhagavatam, everything that is troublesome to the heart becomes almost completely destroyed in love and devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, becomes established as an irrevocable fact. So all this is available in Kali Yuga. We can tune in every day. We can regularly attend, have a regular, and regular means, what does regular mean, by the way? I have a question for all of you. What does Srila Prabhupada mean by regular?
Making it a habit, maybe?
A habit, yes. A little more precise. What does Srila Prabhupada mean? Daily. Who said daily? Jaya. Yes, daily. Regularly means daily, every day. We have to start fresh. Sundarananda, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome, welcome to our morning Srimad Bhagavatam class.
Hare Krishna.
Good to see you.
Likewise.
Okay, so this is all available in Kali Yuga, daily hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam, daily reading, daily chanting our japa. We have to start fresh every day. I'm sure I've already shared this in this class, but I have this weird reoccurring nightmare, like a bad dream. It's the same theme every time I have it, that I went back to my previous job, my previous office job, that I went back there, and it always so sad and so, then what did I do? How come I'm back there? Why did I do it? Why did I go back? It's the same theme every single time. So this night I had a dream where I was sent back to my college, which I also hated from day one. And but because I guess I tolerated it for so long, and I tolerated my job for so long, that it created a very deep impression in my mind, and I keep getting this weird dream. And every time I regret it. Gosh, what did I do? Why did I go back? I was so happy in Krishna consciousness. I had everything. Why did I have to go back under the authority of these people who are clueless about devotional service? Why do I situate myself under their guidance again? So I was, in today's dream, I was sent in my college, and they gave me my curriculum, my room, set of friends, and they even give me a girlfriend. And I was like, why do I have to have this girlfriend? I already have a girlfriend. And meanwhile, she's looking at me. Yeah, you're my boyfriend. Let's do it. And I had a feeling that she's gonna, push me around. Sometimes materialistic girlfriends do that. And it felt so real, so bitter, so like felt like a dead end. I had a dead end again, especially with this girlfriend that they gave me. I said, why did they have to give me a girlfriend, for God's sake? And there was a professor, a very puffed up guy. He was speaking about something that had nothing to do with devotional service, nothing to do with Krishna. And he was speaking with such conviction, such big false ego. And I was thinking, like, why do I have to listen to this puffed up guy? He thinks he's very intelligent. He thinks he's very cool. And why am I stuck here with this girlfriend? So this is what illusion, this is what karma and material consciousness does to us. We already have everything. We already have our guru. We already have our service. We have Srila Prabhupada. We have our Sangha. We have our association. But when we choose Maya, when we choose illusion, Maya immediately supplies us with this weird people, weird situation, weird authorities who have nothing to do with Krishna, who are very puffed up and think that they know everything, and we have to listen to what they say and do what they say. So that's my takeaway from this weird dream that I had. That's what Maya does. Maya gives us weird girlfriends, which we have nothing to do with, no feelings for them. We already have everything. Does anybody else in this audience have a weird, recurring dream or something that bothers them on the regular?
Hare Krishna, Ananda-bihari, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
I'm laughing because I'm like, oh, thank you, Krishna. I'm not the only one that has weird dreams like that.
What's your
I totally
close?
identify. I also, so I had to leave my office job back in 2018 because of my health, and I still have recurring dreams where I'm back at my office job.
Nice.
And I get very confused, and I'm like, why am I here? Like, and then also, or I'll be like back in school, like either college or even high school or even younger, and I'll be confused as to like why I'm here. And then always something happens that's very dangerous. And in the dreams, I either remember to chant the holy names, or if I don't, later on, I'm like, why didn't I chant the holy names? And I wake up so upset that if I didn't chant the holy names, like, why didn't I think of Krishna when I was in that like dangerous or weird situation? And then when I did chant the holy names, I was like, but why was I having to ask him for help? Like, why was I even in that situation? So either way, like, I always come out of these dreams like so perplexed, but a little better when I remember to chant the holy names. I just wish that, you know, like I would want, and I don't know if that's asking too much of ourselves, that even in my dreams, like, I'm like, why can't I remember the holy names during my dreams? You know, like I'm
Not
obviously
too much. Definitely not too much. It's done. I've heard other devotees have that. Krishna in their dream. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, that's what Maya does. It's so crippling. It's so crippling in the dream to realize that this is a dream and remember Krishna. It's difficult. We have to, for that, we need to make sure our day is arranged in such a way that we remember Krishna. Raghunath Prabhu says that whatever you do before going to bed, that has the most impact on you, on what you're going to see in the dream. So if we wind down with Krishna in our ears, in our eyes, on our mind, then there's a good chance that we'll remember Krishna throughout our dreams. That's a domain of Maya, It's a domain of old anarthas, old impressions. Okay, does anybody else have a weird recurring dream?
Prabhupada Ananda-bihari.
Jamanajaya, I can't
Hare
believe
Krishna.
you have a weird dream.
I do. It's so funny. Like Andrea, I really, really hated school. It
What
just
did you go to school
hated it.
for?
So
What did you go to
especially
school for?
well, I didn't go to college because
Oh,
I knew early on that college wasn't for me. And I was lucky enough, I went to a high school where half the day I just got to dance. So that part was good. But the academic, it was just not, I did okay, but it just wasn't for me. I felt like I was being strangled a lot in
yeah.
school. And so when the back to school signs start coming out, I often have these anxiety dreams. It's like, oh my God, they're going to make me go back. They're going to make me go back there. I don't want to go.
Yeah.
And then the other dream that I have that I've had since a child is, and now only now because of the discussion, I'm realizing what it really is. It's something happens and I'm headed somewhere, but then something happens and I have to go back. And then something else, I go back and I can never get there. And I realize it's the wheel of samsara now that I've been seeing my entire life. It's like, I can't get there. I've got to go back. I got to get there. I've got to go back. And when I wake up, I've never gotten there, wherever it is I sent out to be. And I'm just now realizing perhaps, that's the mode of tamas, the mode of ignorance drag me down. I'm not getting where I want to be. I keep getting pulled back. So thank you for that. I've never thought about it that way. Thank you.
Yeah, that's Maya, that's karma. Time to go back to school, come on back down here. And it's so crippling, it's like you're suffocating. This feeling is so real in the dream. Gosh, what the heck am I doing here? Why did I do it? You regret, but you're there, so let's not go there. Okay, Rohini Dasi is sharing. Hare Krishna, I dream about events before they happen very often. Any idea how this is possible? Okay. So what I heard from Gustuba Prabhu is that when we have dreams that are going into the future, on the one hand, it's definitely, we can't rule out that Krishna is, through Paramatma, Krishna is in the heart. Paramatma is perfectly capable to communicate with us, including through dreams. But at the same time, we should understand, we should be realistic about the level of advancement we're at. And sometimes it's just a coincidence that something that I dreamed about happened in real life. Sometimes it's just a concoction. Just I ate too much grains before going to bed and I'm having these weird dreams. And sometimes it's Krishna speaking. So if our consciousness is pure, then Krishna can speak to us without difficulty. But when we have these distortions of illusion, distortions of bad habits, unwanted things in life, then it is less likely that what we see in the dream is real, is actual. So that's how I would answer that. So the purer we are, the better chances are that our dreams will speak the truth. But in our fallen condition, it's a little less likely. So if we want to be able to interpret our dreams and have a very strong connection with Krishna, we should rid our life of unwanted stuff, contamination, like rotten food. It's not just what you eat, what you hear, what you look at, who you associate with. If that all is pure and Krishna conscious, then there's a very, very good chance that our dreams can tell the future or interpret the past in a Krishna conscious way. Okay. Bhima Prabhu, do you have a reoccurring dream? I know you are in the nature somewhere. With horses, perhaps? Okay. I wanted to get Bhima Prabhu to speak, but let's see if we can tune in. Bhima Prabhu, feel free to chip in anytime. Okay, does anybody else have a realization or reflection at this point before I move on? Okay, so I'll move on then. And yeah, so in this day and age, our method, our process is chanting Hare Krishna, attending Srimad Bhagavatam every day, hearing about Krishna every day, whether we feel like or doing it or not, it doesn't matter. Devotional service has to be uninterrupted and unmotivated. Ahoitaki apatiyataha. Savai pumsam paro dharmo. Savai pumsam means for everyone, including Kali Yuga creatures, including ourselves. Savai pumsam paro dharmo. Yato bhaktira dokshiji. Ahoitaki apatiyataha. Yayatma suprasidati. And when our devotional service is every day, when we don't want anything in return, when it's pure, when we're doing it because we want to serve, we want to please Krishna, we want to please the devotees, we want to please our spiritual master. When our mentality is like that, then this will bring what? What does it bring? Does anybody know? It brings bliss, Angel says. Yes, it brings it completely satisfies the self, our true self. It completes us from within. And it doesn't fulfill our false ego or our false dreams or false hopes. It fulfills something that we really are, our eternal, blissful, spiritual nature, self. Ahutaki apratiyataha, do it every day. Don't expect anything in return, and you will get complete satisfaction of your true self. I remember I talked to I have this thing where one-liners really stick with me nicely. I can go with this one-liner throughout my life, and they just really keep me going. And there was one powerful one-liner that I wanted to share that someone told me. We were talking on the sidewalk, and he was telling me about his life. He's a gentleman in his maybe 50s or 60s, and he was saying, Alex, I've lived my life, I've got children, job and everything, and I'm coming from a very, like a poor social situation. I really haven't had much in life in terms of material wealth and riches and connections and stuff. And he told me, but I had good life, and my secret is I expect nothing. He told me, I expect nothing. He said, Alex, I expect nothing. And it really stuck with me. And so this is Ahoituki Apartiyata. We expect nothing from Krishna. We do it to please him, and we do it every day, unceasingly. And we get blissful by this process. And in this age of Kali, Srila Prabhupada writes in Srimad Bhagavatam, Narada Muni is instructing Vyasadeva, the author of Srimad Bhagavatam. Narada Muni is instructing Vyasadeva about the glories of the age of Kali, about the process that is suitable for the age of Kali. In the age of Kali, Narada says, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. So who is this verse talking about? Which incarnation of Krishna?
Lord Chaitanya.
Lord Caitanya, yes. Jaya. His complexion is not blackish. Akrishnam, it says in the verse. Akrishnam. He is not blackish. And Srila Prabhupada says in his word for word, Akrishna means not blackish / golden. So Srila Prabhupada makes it very clear for us. And this was, does anybody know what Lord Chaitanya's weapon is? What's his weapon? And our weapon in this age? How do we cut through Maya?
Hare
Mahama.
Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Harinama. Who said Harinam?
I said Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare.
Is this Gail?
It's scale.
Gail Devi. Yeah, nice, wonderful. Yeah, so this is our weapon. This is the chakra for this age, the Sudarshan chakra, the disc, is Harinam. And yeah, people in this day and age, we come up with so many solutions. Srila Prabhupada once said that one politician, when they come up with a solution to a problem, this solution creates 10 more problems. And then they try to solve those 10 more problems by another material solution. This other material solutions create 10 more. So it grows like this. This is what politicians do. This is how they rule this world. This is the kind of authority we voluntarily put ourselves under. This is our bad dream. These politicians that are ruling us by material considerations. I don't like this. I like that. I expect this by doing this. I want to do as little as possible, and I want to get as much as possible in return. That is materialistic rulers that we have. Does anybody know Franz Kafka, the writer, the weird fiction writer? Just me? I'm the only one? The only fan?
Yes, he has the writing where the guy turns into a cockroach.
Yes. So that he once said about politicians, he said, one idiot is one idiot. 2 idiots are 2 idiots. And 10,000 idiots are a political party. So I found that very powerful and very precise description of this bad dream we put ourselves in. And we have to get out of it. And so Srila Prabhupada, when he was a young man, I'm reading this Lilamrita, highly recommended, read for everybody. Get this Lilamrita set and read it, it's nectar. When Srila Prabhupada was a young man, and he lived in Prayag, Allahabad at that time. And he had this little storefront that he ran, little pharmacy. And he was approached by some political Gandhi movement activists. Swaraj means Swaraj, Indian rule. India should be ruled by Indians. So that was the movement Swaraj, against the British rule. And he was approached by the Swaraj activists. I think they're either asked for a donation or something. And he would donate. He would donate because he was a Gandhi follower when he was young, before he met his spiritual master. So, but then after, when Srila Prabhupada was, many years later, when Srila Prabhupada was in his 40s and he lived in Calcutta, he had already lost his interest in doing his business, his venture. He was just doing it to support his family. His heart wasn't there, wasn't in it. And he had this devotees, he rented out little rooms in his house to these sannyasis that were living there. And so in that phase of Srila Prabhupada's life, he was going to challenge these politicians, these Swaraj activists. So why are you not following Lord Chaitanya, the Sankirtan movement? Why are you not following the directions of Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita? So that's our trajectory, from being ruled by these idiots, materialistic idiots, who have no clue about spiritual life, who are misguided, they're blinded by their senses, controlled by their senses. So we should at least be neutral, at least neutral. And then when we are advanced, we can challenge them, like Srila Prabhupada did. He would always, when the movement had picked up in the West, and then he brought it back to India, his disciples, he was approached for money by this, politicians, and he would always say, "No, we're not going to give you money. You give us money. You help us with our Sankirtan movement, and all your problems will be solved. All your material problems will be solved." So as devotees, we should train our mind to always turn things around. Anytime Maya approaches us for something, we should turn things around and engage Maya in our service. That's how it's done. Let me read something. Okay. Srila Prabhupada says in the purport to verse 1533, he says, the verse is, "O good soul, does not a thing applied therapeutically cure a disease which was caused by that very thing?" Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, "An expert physician treats his patient with a therapeutic diet. For example, milk preparations sometimes cause disorder of the bowels, but the very same milk converted into curd and mixed with some other remedial ingredients cures such disorders. Similarly, the threefold miseries of material existence cannot be mitigated simply by material activities. Such activities have to be spiritualized. In other words, Krishna cures our material condition, sometimes by giving us this therapeutical dosage of suffering, which we should use for our advancement in Krishna consciousness. That's what suffering is for. Suffering is not to break us or to make us go through pain and become bitter. It's not even meant for burning off our karma. Suffering that happens in the life of a devotee, pain rather, not suffering. Devotees don't suffer. They experience pain, but the suffering is completely optional for a devotee. So pain in our life as devotees, as practicing, aspiring devotees, is meant to uplift us. It's meant for our upliftment. It's a therapeutical. It cures our material disease. It's the same material pain, but when it's applied therapeutically, it cures us of this material condition. So therefore, we shouldn't necessarily, quit our jobs right away, break connections with our families or anything. That can stay in our life. All those things can stay. We don't have to burn bridges right away. We could do it later. That's there. But that should be engaged in devotional service, rather. Similarly, Srila Prabhupada continues, the material conception of a thing is at once changed as soon as it is put into the service of the Lord. That's what we do with our, materialistic families, materialistic bosses. We should put them to work. We should put them into the service of the Lord. That is the secret of spiritual success. We should not try to lord it over the material nature, nor should we reject material things. We should not reject, Srila Prabhupada says. So unless it's something really sinful, unless it's something that has to do with the regulative principles, we shouldn't reject that. the best way to make the best use of a bad bargain is to use everything in relation to the Supreme Spiritual Being. Everything is an emanation from the Supreme Spirit, and by his inconceivable power, he can convert spirit into matter. So Krishna can convert spirit into matter, and matter into spirit. Therefore, a material thing, so-called. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada sometimes says, material world doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. A devotee may be situated in this world, but because he's engaged in this unceasing, unmotivated devotional service, matter is converted into spirit, and therefore matter doesn't exist. Therefore, a material thing, so-called, Srila Prabhupada says, so-called material world, is at once turned into a spiritual force by the great will of the Lord. The necessary condition for such a change is to employ so-called matter in the service of the spirit. That is the way to treat our material diseases and elevate ourselves to the spiritual plane where there is no misery, no lamentation, and no fear. When everything is thus employed in the service of the Lord, we can experience that there is nothing except the Supreme Brahman. So, Jamuna Jaya, you have to go back to your school and immediately employ them in devotional service. That's the way to do. Andrea,
Yes, that is the way to do it.
Okay, let's see. Thanks for the great points, Prabhu. That Sundarananda Das says, Prabhu, I have a similar experience as Andrea. Somehow, if I can get myself to remember devotees, struggle in dreams is reduced. What's your dream, Sundarananda? Give us some details. Give us some juicy details. Sundarananda Prabhu, are you here? I have to run. Thank you for your class. Jamuna Jaya has to run. Okay, Jamuna Jaya, employ anyone you encounter on your run in devotional service.
Will do.
Okay. Does anybody else have a realization to share, a reflection? A question? Challenge?
Hare Krishna.
A challenge? Angel?
No challenge. I wanted to ask from the verse that was read. I know puja is one of the practices in bhakti or for purification, right? Where it's like a daily, but I don't remember the term that they just use in the one that you just read.
Yagya? Sankirtan Yagya?
Yes.
Yeah,
So
our puja, there's nothing wrong with puja if it's aimed at glorifying Krishna. If Krishna is in the puja, if it's facilitating our remembrance of Krishna, that puja is yagya, is Sankirtan Yagya, is devotional service. But when puja is done for, I don't know, a good spouse or something of that matter, of that category, something material, that puja is useless, and it won't work because it's Kali Yuga. We're not capable of pronouncing the mantras properly, even. So our only chance is to bring Krishna in the picture, wherever it is. Yat karasha yadashnasi, whatever you do, what's that verse? Yat karasha yadashnasi, yat juhashi dadasya, yat tapasya sakunta, yat tat kushva madarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, puja, whatever you offer or give away, or whatever austerity you perform, do it, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. So Krishna says the right way to do puja or anything else, karmic job even, the right way to do it is to do it as an offering to Krishna. And then further down the road, Krishna will show us how to maybe get out of that situation if it gets like a frying pan. It's like super toxic and not conducive to our Krishna consciousness. Then Krishna will get us out of it. As long as we bring that purifying agent, as soon as we put this purifying agent in our crazy mix of sewage, of karma that we put ourselves in, Krishna will start purifying it gradually.
So the question, I'm sorry, I don't want to take up so much of the time, but I was curious to know, what is Yagya?
Is an act of worshiping Krishna. Yagya is, Brahmatirtha Prabhu puts it very nicely. Yagya is a way of eating your cake and having it at the same time. So yagya is when you give back to Krishna, when you acknowledge that it's coming from Krishna. Krishna is the source of whatever has been given to us. You offer it back to Krishna. That's yagya. And the yagya for this day and age is Sankirtan yagya. This is how we give back to the community we live in. This is how we give back to the country we live in, to our family, to the demigods, to Krishna. Krishna includes everything. Sankirtan yagya is the process for this day and age. It encompasses everything. So nothing else is necessary.
Okay. Thank you so much for your explanation and everything. The class is amazing. And as far as dreams, I have the tendency of having dreams of my present moments and times, of whatever it is that I'm working with. A majority of the time, they're not scary, but it is. I mean, I do question myself sometimes, like, why am I, like, God, when are you going to take me back home? I don't want to be here anymore. I'm like, no, but I have to accept my karma, and accepting the karmas, and from what you share is, from what I realize, from what I received is that everyone in this world has karma, and those moments that we are criticizing and judging others, that's part of our karma. What are we doing to judge or label someone else something else when they're paying their karma because they're seeking for gratification through their senses, through Maya? And so I that's the one thought that crossed my mind. Like, it's very easy to label someone else something, and when we're not catching ourselves, we're labeling that person as something else. But so like these nightmares and dreams, sometimes I'll have them, and I'll wake up and I won't remember them instantly, because the first thing I think about now is Krishna, and I'm like, God, thank you for so much for waking me up and giving me another day to serve you here on this earthly plane. And but then I remember throughout the day, and normally I'm with my son, and I'll just randomly, I'm like, oh my God, I remember the dream now. And he's like, okay, Mom, what is it? and it's interesting, because in my dream, I look like the way that I am. Everything that is, it seems so real. And the illusion just continues in my dream. So it's really interesting. The moment that we do practice the Maha Mantra, it can really brings us back to the present, and like redirect us so that we can actually practice Yagya, like in the verse, all the time, anytime, anywhere. And I really appreciate all the analogies that you always use, and your energy and your calmness is very I'm grateful for it. So thank you for setting that example, and having me so in the mornings I wake up and I'm just like constantly like, okay, God, pray now, son, so the moment that I get to experience have these beautiful associations with the bhakti devotees, with Sangha in the morning, it's such a pleasant experience because it brings me back to harmony and bliss.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on every day so steadily. That's an example of ahoitike pratyataha, unceasing, unmotivated. And I have a challenge for everyone who shared about their weird dreams today. So let's try next time this happens. Let's try to remember Krishna, chant Mahamantra, and get out of it. Let's see if I challenge myself first of all. I'll try that next time around. Okay, Bhima Prabhu. I had those dreams many years ago. Don't worry, they go away pretty soon. Everything becomes a dream. Nice, Bhima Prabhu. Thank you so much. Yeah, they do go away. Yeah. Isabel, thank you. Wonderful class. Thank you, dear devotees. Thank you so much for tuning in, for showing up every day, for your comments, for your contributions, for tolerating me. We'll see you, everyone, tomorrow. Tomorrow is another day in Krishna consciousness. Srimad Bhagavatam class is a wonderful way to start. So let's keep the vibration going unceasingly. Let's not expect anything. Let's not judge. And
Let's not expect anything. Can I just say one thing? I've been chopping at to say one thing about not expect. Your friend was saying, or your acquaintance, I don't know, was saying, don't expect anything. I know.
I expect nothing.
I expect nothing. And when you said that, it reminded me of Dhanadhar Maharaj's thing. He often says, he connects, don't expect anything with chanting constantly. You know, that third verse of the Shikshastakam, Trinadapi Sunichena Torodapi Sahishnana. So if you expect nothing, then you're grateful for everything.
Yeah.
And if you're grateful for everything, then you experience Krishna's mercy.
Yeah.
You're grateful for his mercy. And when you experience his mercy due to your gratitude, that inspires love in your heart for him.
Mm.
And when you experience that love in your heart, then you will want to chant his name.
Mm.
And because that chanting is an expression of love, you will want to chant all the time because love is happiness.
Yeah.
And so when your chanting is inspired by that love, which is happiness, then you will want to chant always. So this is the connection that he makes between expecting nothing and chanting always out of the happiness of love. So I find that very inspiring, that connection that he makes in that Trinadapi Sunichena verse. Don't tolerate everything, don't expect anything, and you can chant always. So I wanted to share his realization.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much for bringing Dandara Maharaj in this conversation. He's so wonderful. I shared one other point of that Dandara Maharaj always makes. How pain is there in the world, but suffering is unnecessary. Suffering is totally optional. Dandara Maharaj says that I can't think of the exact gradation that he uses, but he says suffering is not necessary. Suffering is ridiculous, and then suffering is offensive to Krishna. Because when we choose to suffer, then that means that we don't trust Krishna, and we don't trust that Krishna knows what he's doing.
Yes.
That's suffering. That's Dandara Swami so brilliantly put it together. I should look that up and share it next time. Okay, Bhima Das Prabhu says, row your boat gently down the stream. Krishna is taking care of everything. Expect everything from Krishna. Yes, Bhima Prabhu, thank you for bringing the point back home, back to Krishna. I expect nothing. That's one level. Even higher than that, The highest level is to expect everything from Krishna. Yeah, Krishna is the source of everything, sarva karana karanam. And for a devotee, there is no maya, there's no illusion, there's no karma for a devotee. It's all Krishna. It's all coming from Krishna. Raghunath Swami puts it, he was once asked by a devotee, how much karma do I have in life and how much Krishna's arrangement do I have in life? What's the correlation in my life as a practicing devotee? And Maharaj looked at him and said, do you want me to tell you the percentage? 37% of Maya, 63% of Krishna. And it's not like that. We have as much Krishna in our life as we choose to have. By our sadhana, by showing up, by serving our guru, by serving the devotees, by maintaining good sadhana, and by keeping our vows. So that's that much Krishna we will have in love. And as much as we are relaxed and compromise on things, then that's how much Maya we're going to have in love in life. Okay, we have to wrap up. We're over time. Apologize for being over time. Thank you very much. See you everyone tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Krishna is rowing our boat. He knows what he's doing. Let's trust him. Let's be grateful. Let's expect everything from him. And let's experiencing how Krishna is present in our life and how all this stuff works, unlike all the stuff that we're being proposed by, other folks. Okay, Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Haribol.
Evil.